This is a family action plan presented by Joshua Walker. A quick stroll down our hallways, and you'll see that our students come from a variety of cultures and countries. This is what adds value to our schools. Unfortunately, we haven't taken full advantage of that value because there's a disconnect. Many of these students come from immigrant families. The disconnect is when the immigrant parents are not involved in their students' education or involved in the school. In their 2009 study, Turney and Cow realized that there was quite a discrepancy between immigrant family parent involvement in their students and that of native. Turney and Cow also point out that parent involvement leads to greater student success. So the question is, how do we get immigrant parents involved in their students' education? In any action plan, you need to first set your goal and have a clear goal. And what is our goal? Our goal is to have a higher immigrant parent involvement at our schools. Once we've defined our goal, we need to look at the different avenues we will take in order to get there. And that's where this plan comes into action. Golan and Peterson have identified different things that institutions can do in order to bridge some of the gaps and some of the barriers. I picked 5 that I think are prudent and that are most worthwhile. One, parents' direct needs. Taking care of their direct needs, transportation, dinner, food, childcare. Number 2, personal connections. They feel as though they're a stranger. When they come to the school, they have nobody to relate to those types of things. Number 3, concern for student achievement. A lot of these cultures don't have a real concern for student achievement like we see here in the United States. So that's something that's foreign to them. 4, logistical support, having forms filled out that they could fill out in their native language, accommodating them as far as signs go, having interpreters available for them during meetings. Number 5 would be sense of community. It's great to have these personal connections, but those should be ongoing. So having some type of sense of community where after these meetings, after this plan is over, that they would be able to have a place where they could go and ask questions and still connect with others. Now that we've identified some things that we could do as an institution to meet our goal of increasing immigrant parent involvement, we need to come up with a definitive and concrete plan of how we're going to do this. We have a recognized goal of wanting to increase immigrant parent involvement, not only in the school, but in their students' education. We've identified that we need to do this by these 5 areas and dampening any barriers that may be up. What I'm proposing is this, is a meeting every other Monday at 6 p.m. These meetings will be multifaceted for the purposes of fostering community within the immigrant parent population. Number 2 would be an avenue for them to get involved in school activities as far as planning, planning events, sports, those types of things, giving out information. And lastly, it'd be another way for them to get involved in their students' education. So there'll be resources on what's happening currently in school, as well as things as scholarships, colleges, post-secondary opportunities. These meetings will have themes to them. We're looking at a rotating schedule. So the first meeting, we cover information such as school policies, logistics of the school, schedules, procedures, anything that they have a question about as far as the logistics go. The following meeting, we would have a time of presenting community resources, having people from the community come in that provide resources, telling about those resources, housing, food, etc. The third meeting would be extracurricular activities, plays, sports, clubs. They could get the information for these types of things, get questions answered. The fourth meeting would be school event planning. This would be a time when they would take a direct action in the events of the school, planning particular things. Fifth would be individual student conferences. Oftentimes, immigrant parents with the language barrier don't come to conferences. We would make interpreters available so they could ask questions and they could be more informed about the education of their child. Sixth, we would have a next step session. This would be dedicated to informing both students and their parents about the next steps, college, vocational type questions, resources. I see this as a rotating basis. So once we work through all these, we would just start over again and parents could jump into the process at any time. This way, we would build community, we would get involvement, and we would be able to disseminate and give them the information for all these different aspects that are really important to their child. These involvement meetings will meet the parents' direct needs by providing dinner at the meeting. That'll be the first thing that happens. Childcare will be provided, and transportation will be provided in the form of bus passes, and also there will be a carpool sign up. It's important that these meetings foster personal connections. Therefore, for the first few meetings, we will have welcome greeters that will be the staff and teachers that will welcome the parents as they come in. Eventually, we would like to see the welcome greeters be the parents themselves. Secondly, we'll have name tags. These welcome greeters will give name tags where each parent will write their name and wear that so that everybody has a name to go with the face. Since we're providing dinner, this provides a wonderful social time where we could sit at tables and eat together and speak together. It'd be nice to have a wide range of people at tables. As was spoken of earlier, many cultures don't take the involvement in student education as we do here. This would be an opportunity to get them more involved as far as giving them resources, getting them invested and interested. Time with teachers, a time where they could speak through an interpreter to get questions answered and to get a better grasp on what their child is doing, and just foster an overall sense of the importance of education. In terms of logistical support, we'll need to do some research and see what languages are being spoken and written in our schools as far as immigrant parents go. And we need to try and get as many of these languages accounted for as far as forms and any written text that we may have. We want to make those available in the specific languages of the immigrant parents to make them more comfortable. At the meetings, we want to try also to have interpreters for each of the represented languages. And the big thing is we're going to have breakout groups where each breakout group will go to their, for instance, Spanish speakers may go one place, Vietnamese may go another place. And this will be the time when we don't want to feel like we're segregating, but we want to be able to give more definitive and more concrete resources as far as parent involvement. This will be where we give information about scholarships and talk about the students directly. So we'll have these different stations, and the teachers will be available to go through and to speak to each of these different places. Even though these meetings are bi-weekly and they'll continue indefinitely, we want to have other avenues for people to stay in contact and just to foster that sense of community. The first would be a group page on Facebook. Granted, not everybody uses Facebook, and it's hard to accommodate so many different nationalities on one Facebook group page. But it's still worth a shot, and those that can use it probably will. Second would be a newsletter. Ideally, we would have this newsletter sent out in each immigrant parent's native tongue. And second, we would have the option for people to give out their contact information, their phone numbers, their email addresses, personal Facebook pages, and that way they could stay in contact with one another. While this action plan seems like quite the undertaking and is going to take a lot of planning and logistics and money, we know that parent involvement equals success in student education, and we should do all that we can in order to foster immigrant parent involvement and see increased success in our students.